Good morning, and as always, good morning, Wealth Warriors. It is Brent Harding and Pamela Stone, and we have some topics, some real talk for you this morning. For those who are not familiar, this is the Wealth Warrior broadcast, and the only thing that we talk about here is how we are going to monetize and create wealth. Because, quite frankly, that's the name of the game. In fact, making money actually is fun. It can be sexy, and it is profitable. And that's what we talk about. What can we do not only to create money, but to be able to pass it on generation to generation? Part of the process is not only knowing how to do it, but also being visible in the public eye in a way that makes you notice, in a way that draws people to want to do business with us. So, with that being said, I speak of that because we have somebody on the air with us today, a guest speaker, who's going to talk to us about branding, the real talk about branding. Because some of us are out there and our businesses are looking, well, we aren't looking as complete as we'd like to look. And the possibility is that we just don't know what we don't know. So before we get started and introduce our guest speaker, let me open up and, of course, have our co-host say a few words to you. Pamela, you are up, my dear.
Good morning, Wealth Warriors. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to extend an invitation to those of you who are new to the broadcast, who doesn't know how to become a Wealth Warrior. All you got to do is very simple and easy. Is just go jump onto your Facebook page, Wealth Warriors, and send us an invitation saying, I want to join. And one of us, or even, you may be lucky, both of us will jump on and welcome you in. And then we'll just start welcoming in. We're here every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and we're here to feed you so we all can be big. So now, without further ado, back to Miss Brent, and welcome again.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You know, before we get underway, everyone, one of the things that we want to do, as Pamela said, we want to welcome the world into the broadcast. So I'm going to ask everybody to quickly take the fingers, go up to the keyboard, and tweet out and let folks know that you're here on the broadcast. All you need to do is say, I'm on the Wealth Warrior broadcast. Join us. That's all. I'm on the Wealth Warrior broadcast. Join us. We're going to do that real quickly, and then we're going to introduce our guests. So on the count of three, you should have been typing it up while I was talking. I know you were, because you know how to do this. So we want to do a flash mob. Are you ready? On the count of three. When I say three, hit the enter button and say flash mob. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Flash mob! Absolutely. Welcome, folks, to the broadcast, because the information they're getting here is at no charge. And can you imagine having to pay for this? That is a flash mob moment. So, with that being said, without further ado, I want to introduce you to our guest speaker. She is an expert in the field of branding ourselves, such a critical piece. I'm going to have her share who she is, give you some background about her, what her company is about, and then we're going to ask her some poignant questions. The questions that you ask us, we're going to put to her. So, without further ado, I have the privilege and the pleasure of introducing none other than Yasmin Robles. Ms. Robles, are you there? And I hope that I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm so excited to be here.
We are excited to have you with us. So give us all the vital statistics, and then we're ready to rock. Go right ahead.
All right, so my name is Yasmin Robles. I am the boss lady over at roblesdesigns.com, and that's where we create sparkling brands and websites for driven entrepreneurs. And yeah, pretty much we have fun and we make your business sparkle.
Ooh,
Sparkle is what I like.
Yay! Yes. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Yasmin, why don't we jump right into it? Talk to us. What is branding? I mean, it seems to be the latest buzz. Is it the latest buzz?
I mean, branding has been around since people have been able to open businesses, but really a general way of describing branding is that it's everything that you do that touches your clients. Whether that's the way that the cashier checks your customers out, or the way your website looks like. I'm more of a specialist in the visual branding. So how does your digital brand look like? What does your website say about you? Does it say that you're an expert, or does it say that you are a business that will be here today and maybe not be here tomorrow? And how much you care about your clients.
I can tell right now, just the way that you rolled that out, that yes, you are a visual expert and you are real clear. It was so polished. I love it. Okay, I'm just opening up my doors. How important is it in today's market when we have social media? A person can go up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever the case may be. How important is our website, and why would we want to engage you as opposed to just going to a free and putting out of ourselves? Talk to us about that.
So when it comes to a website versus a Facebook page or having a Twitter or anything like that, the reason that you don't want to rely solely on a social media page is because it can be taken away at any moment. So Facebook, you can have millions of followers, and then one day Facebook closes its doors and you lose access to all of those followers. They won't know where to go to find you anymore. And a website is the perfect way to show that you're an expert, give the content tailored to how you want to portray it, and then collect emails and all of that information from your customers and from people visiting your site, so that you always have a record of those people. And if Facebook or Twitter or anybody else decides to close their doors, you still have a way to show who you are and what you do and how you can help your customers. The reason you would want to go with a designer versus just kind of going on a free site and just working through, let's say, a free WordPress or free, there's a couple of other ones, is because you need to focus on your business, right? You need to focus on getting those clients, on marketing, on showing up, on going on interviews, all of that. Why would you want to spend your time working on a site when you can spend your time making money? And, you know, that's just how it is in the world. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, and if you are an amazing, let's say, business coach, work on that and let a designer do the website for you.
Oh my goodness, Pamela, did you you should have seen the look on my face when she said take away. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, hold it. And then she said, well, you know, Facebook could close down, and I'm thinking,
Why?
how is that possible? Oh man, you talk about a scare. My stomach muscles just got tight. Okay, I appreciate exactly what you're saying. Before I open up for Pamela to ask a question, a couple of questions around the website. One, suppose somebody has already started. They went up to a Wix, or they went up to something of that nature. They already started the process of doing a website. Would you pick up from there, or how would you work with somebody that either has already started the process or has a website but needs to enhance it? Would you be involved in that?
Yes, so we work both ways. We work with people who have nothing yet, so they're a blank slate, and then we work with others who have started a website already, and they might be overwhelmed or frustrated at the process taking so long. Because they are learning as they're going, and maybe just they can't seem to make it as sparkle and pizzazz as they really want it to be. So we dive in both cases, and really what we do when you already have a site is we assess what's working and what's not working, and we can jump into the platform that you're using, whether that's WordPress, Wix, Squarespace. We've worked with many of those. And we jump in and we do an assessment. And really that's to get to know you, your personality, your goals, and then what is helping you make the money on your website and what is not.
Okay. And branding, you gave a great explanation of branding. Dig a little deeper for us, and then Pamela, I promise. Pamela says, Brent, you know, my turn. I promise. Dig in deep to branding, because when I think of branding, I think of you see me here. What you see here is how it should be seen in all areas that a person would see you. So, you know, from your Twitter to your LinkedIn to your website to your Facebook, how do they want to look when we say brand? Is it collateral? Does that match with the collateral paper, your business cards and so on? Dig deep into branding for me, please.
Okay, so branding there's three things that you need to keep in mind when you're thinking about your visual brand. You need to keep it consistent. So that means that the same profile image that you use, whether it's your logo or your own image, has to be the same on all social networks. You can't have one that has your logo, one that has an image of you outside, and then another one that has a professional shot image in a studio. They all have to be consistent. Same thing with colors, colors, visual elements. So if you love the gold that is really trending right now, the gold metallic or gold glitter, that's trending as well, then make sure that you use the similar gold everywhere so that when people look at it and they look at your profile image, they immediately think of you and not someone else, or they have to think about it. Don't make people think about whether that's really you. Number two is to keep it simple, because you are entrepreneurs. You're focused on making the money, whether you sell soaps or you're a business coach or a health coach. You need to focus on your customers. So keeping it simple, not using too many colors, too many different fonts. That way you can just say, okay, this is my font, this is my go-to color. I'm just going to put it into my new Facebook post image, and I'm good to go. And then just really adding your personality. So many of my clients, they're just so afraid of adding their personality. And I ask them, who's running the business? Who are people going to speak to? And for example, if you're a health coach, I've been speaking with one of my clients, and she had a very, very nice site, but you could put somebody else's face on it, and it would be just as nice. There was no personality. There was nothing that was really tailored to her. And as soon as she started, she was very feminine. As soon as she started actually making that website be her and her brand and her femininity and just the way she was, she immediately saw a shift where she was excited to market her website. She was excited to show it off, and it really ends up making people excited to work with you.
Wow, I like that. I appreciate that tremendously. Thank you for that one. You said three, so you gave us consistent, simple. I must have missed one. Tell us what
the personality. Just making sure you add personality. Don't be afraid of your personality. And that's from personal experience. When I first started out years and years ago, I wanted to tailor my website for everybody. I wanted to work with anybody and everybody. And it just was bland. It was not attracting the clients I wanted. I was just not happy. And as soon as I put the pink, I used the font that I liked, I used the colors that I liked, I started working with more female entrepreneurs, and I'm more than excited to share my website and to work with my brand versus before when it was very corporate and stiff, and that's not who I am. So that's why there wasn't that connection between myself and my brand.
We can certainly tell that you are not stiff for it, and you are fun. So that one, yes, if that's what it took, for sure, for sure. You gave us such, I'm sitting up here just with goosebumps thus far. Let me just do a quick recap of what I've heard and then turn it over to Pamela. A couple of things that I heard from you is, in fact, branding is important. What I did hear, which was interesting, is you shared with us that you focus in on a visual, so you focus in on the visual brand. So needless to say, that makes me think, okay, so there's more than visual. So there's more discussion because there's more. But I'll hold that one. You talk about the takeaway, what we want a person to take away about you as a result of your brand. And then you said there were three key elements, and I like this. You said consistency. You've got to be consistent on all levels. You can't, which I was one of those. I had my picture on one spot. I had something else on another spot. And in fact, the logo wasn't even showing, so nobody knew what the logo was because I had pictures of myself. So I got real clear with that. You talked about color and visual element. You said keep things simple, and what I really liked, I wrote down the sentence, don't make people have to think about it. That was perfect. And then you wrapped it up with personality. So that, I hope that everybody took away nuggets, because I'll tell you, in the feed it should say nugget, 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 nugget. If it doesn't, something's wrong with this picture. With that being said, let's turn it over to Pamela, and so that she can ask some questions. We're asking the burning questions that we heard our tribe, we've heard our audience talk about. So these are the questions you asked us to ask her. So we're doing it. We're following through. Okay, Pamela, the floor is yours, my darling.
Great. First of all, this has been great, so helpful and informative. Like Brent said, I hope you're getting these nuggets down. If not, you know what? You can go back to the replay later on and get your piece of paper. Look, you see I have my pen and my paper I'm writing, and go back and keep writing down everything that's being heard today. So Yasmin, I have a question. I'm going to take it back a little step further. What about those entrepreneurs that are just now starting out? And they don't have the budget. They're thinking the budget of branding is huge. Let's be honest, when I first started out, I thought branding was thousands and thousands of dollars, and there was no way I was going to be able to afford it. What would you say to an entrepreneur that came to you and said that?
So they do come to me and say that, you know, I have a limited budget and I don't know what to do, but I need this professional logo and I'm just starting out. So what we do then is make sure that they start using what the budget that they do have for target market and kind of to testing the waters. So we tell them, we can coach them through creating their free site, and what we do with that, they can go on Wix or whatever it actually fits in their budget, and we do reviews of their site periodically just to say, hey, could you move this over? So we're not actually doing it for them, but we're giving them strategies that we've used and that we've seen work for other entrepreneurs.
Okay,
so there's that. And then what I always tell people is test your market, because if you're just starting out, it's perfect. You are in a perfect spot. You don't be afraid that you have no followers or anything like that, because you're in the perfect spot to actually go out there, test out an offering, and even if you have just a one-page website with your call to action to your calendar, whatever that may be, and then go out there and just start, you know, how do you say it? Just start hitting the pavement and just start getting people, speaking with people, seeing what their problems really are, and collecting any data, giving free something of value in exchange for some market analysis. And that's what then you can use once you are a bit more up and running, your budget's a little bit bigger. You have all of this amazing data that you can use and put it into your marketing and into your website, and just pretty much reuse that and have this spectacular digital brand.
Perfect. That's great. I hope everybody wrote that down. So I'm writing down and trying to ask the question, so I'm going to have to go back. Then let me ask you this. You talked about some of the free websites that they can start up running for right now. Can you give a few of those, some of those web pages, please?
Yeah, so a couple of the ones that we do enjoy are Wix and Weebly. Those are great. And then there's WordPress. I believe it's WordPress.org, the one that's free. And those you can find, for example, the WordPress. You can find a free template, and even if you have the paid version of WordPress, you can pay for that hosting, but you can then download free templates. Now, it's not going to be as customizable, obviously, and there might be tweaks that you can't do to it, but you're going to be able to be set up, and it's going to be fast, and you're going to be good to go in less than a week. And that's doing it yourself and, you know, uploading your own images and all of that. And that's perfect because you can then, like I said, just hit the ground running. You can just put that website up there, have something that shows that you're an expert and that you're a real person, and then go and get those clients.
And thank you very much. I know they're going to appreciate that. And then I want to go back to one of the words you had said, one of the three important is consistency. Mm-hmm. Say, for instance, they're not consistent. Have you had to take down a website? Because I know there's going to be some of our new entrepreneurs who are like, oh no, they're going to tear my website down. How bad is it?
So we've never actually torn a website down. Let's say that you're not being consistent across your social media and then on your website, that the colors aren't the same or anything like that. We do an analysis of everything of the opportunities that you have for improvement. And then we ask you, okay, well, on Facebook, you use a lot of these, let's say, plum colors, but then on your website, you're using a lot of pinks. Which do you prefer? And then we can come up with color schemes and ask you, kind of make sure that let's say you say, I love the pink. I'm going to go with the pink, and that's my color. So then we help you. We say, okay, well, let's change some of the graphics that you're using when you post on Facebook, and we take it step by step so that you're not overwhelmed. Let's say that it's your website that you completely need to change. We don't tear it down. What we do is we slowly transition your graphics, and let's say the fonts. We need to change the fonts to match everything else. Then we do that. That's a simple edit. Then let's say that your main image, what we call in designer speak, hero image. So it's the first image that you see when you land on a website. That's a very important image because it's what sets the tone for the rest of the site. So that's usually the first image that we tackle. Let's say that your logo, you're not really in love with it, but you don't know what to do. A logo it takes a bit longer, so that usually we tackle it behind the scenes, giving you concepts and ideas for it in different colors, and finally we reveal that logo later on. So we do take it step by step. We've never had to tear down a site because you don't want people to look for your site or have a link somewhere and it'll take them to a site that is not functional anymore, because then they will not come back.
Thank you. So true. Brent, do I still get to ask? Do I still have a few more moments?
Yeah, you got a few more. We're going to do a flash mob in just a few seconds, but you got a few more, so go right ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. So then, Yasmin, now here's one thing that I do hear a lot of entrepreneurs get tripped up on: logo. They focus on logo, logo, logo. What is your feel on that?
So a logo it's a great way to represent yourself and your company. It's great to have something that you can use as a watermark, or to make sure, for example, if you have a Facebook post image and it doesn't have your face or anything on there, it's just a quote. It's great to have a logo in the corner to make sure that it's branded to you, people know who it belongs to, and it's easy for them to say, I wonder where I can find that business. They can start Googling you and find your website. Now, a logo, what we like to do, because there's so many right now where it's just, let's say it's Yasmin Robles Designs, and that's the logo, Yasmin Robles Designs. But what we like to do is actually give you also a symbol. That, for example, if I was a health coach and for some reason I had a leaf in because I use all eco-friendly products, and so I had a leaf also in my logo, a symbol. I can what we do is we offer just the name and then just the symbol in separate files as well, so you can then use the symbol in certain places as a watermark, in a corner of a brochure, or on your, made larger for a business card, anything like that. That way you can play with the elements versus just having one logo with just maybe the name and having to put that everywhere else. But a logo is very, very essential. It helps you really brand the business. It helps people recognize you, because let's say I can get my hair cut and my profile image will look completely different. Maybe people won't recognize me, but they'll recognize that logo.
Great. Brent, do you have I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over, because I'll keep asking and asking and asking. And then my time will be up, so I will pass the torch back to you, Miss Brent.
Well, I thank you. Well, we're going to do a quick flash mob, because as we're winding down, there's still opportunity for people to ask questions to our guest speaker, and I am so enthusiastic. So we're going to do that quick flash mob, and all we're going to say is join Wealth Warrior Broadcast. That's it. Join Wealth Warrior Broadcast now. So we need to put the word now in there. So it's going to be a 3, 2, 1. Join the Wealth Warrior Broadcast now. And then we're going to hit the enter button and move it along. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, enter, flash mob! And I hope you invited people on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and also on Facebook, and any place else that we've got social media. Which brings me to a great question. And that is, Jasmine, now where would we want to be uh, from a social media perspective, you said visual, social media perspective, the first things that most people think, well, they think of two, and that is Facebook and Twitter. I've added LinkedIn because they are business individuals. Where else do we want to be posting or monitoring or making sure that we're visible in?
It all depends on your market analysis. So for myself, when I was researching where my target audience is, they're mostly on Facebook, somewhat on Twitter, and then they are on LinkedIn because they are business owners. Now, what I really did notice is that the startup entrepreneurs were mostly on Facebook, whereas LinkedIn, they had already somewhat of an established business. And that all comes from your target market analysis, which I work on the visuals, but I really tell clients that if they're not sure where they're getting their clients from, they need to go and find that information out, because it's going to make it so much easier. Because if they're not on Twitter, don't waste your time on Twitter. If they're not on Snapchat, let's say, if you're targeting an older audience and they're not on Snapchat, don't do anything with Snapchat. But so the ones that seem to be an overarching social media is Facebook, Twitter, and then you mentioned LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you're targeting professionals, then LinkedIn is a very good one. If you're targeting a younger audience or a more visual audience, then it's going to be Instagram and maybe Snapchat if they're a really young audience. But Instagram right now and Pinterest, those are really growing. Pinterest is really good for if you have a female audience. And if you have a lot of visuals that you can tailor, for example, let's say you do a blog post, put an image on your blog post. Don't be afraid. You can always go back and edit the image and upload a new one. Put an image up that is slightly taller, and then put it on your Pinterest, because you can get a lot of people back to your site through Pinterest. And then Instagram, it's just a very good way to put visuals up and connect with people. Those two have been growing a lot.
Good, excellent, good question. You did a couple of things. First of all, in terms of a market analysis, and we'll be wrapping up in a few minutes, but I got some hot ones here. In terms of a market analysis, what is a market analysis? How would we begin to do that? Obviously, we know that comes a point in time when you just have to give it to the professional. But when you say the word market analysis, what should I be thinking?
It's really the simplest way to say it is gathering information about who you want to work with. And let's say you've never done it before. Then what I actually did when I first started out is I challenged myself to speak to 30 women in 30 days. And I gave 20 minutes of a website review for 10 minutes of time of me asking questions. So we would go through the website review. I would give value. And you always have to try and give value. And then I would say, okay, now would I be able to ask you some questions? And I would ask questions on what social media they were mostly on, what they thought of their website, and to describe the problem themselves that they were seeing on their site. Because I can say things like that are very technical, for example, the chromatic intensity of the colors on your logo, or I can go on and on. But what people are saying is my logo is not attracting clients, or my visuals are looking dull. They are speaking in their own language, and then you can use that to write copy to actually describe the problem without putting too much jargon into it, and really to connect with your clients. So that's what I did. I did 30 women in 30 days. I suggest, if they allow, to record the conversation, because you can only take so many notes at once and then actually focus on them. And then just take all your notes. I did charts for mine of how many people said they were on Facebook, how they described the issues, and then I tailored that and then said, okay, well, I'm going to focus on Facebook because a lot of these startup entrepreneurs seem to be on Facebook, and I'm going to start an Instagram account because they also seem to be very much into Instagram. So that is what I usually suggest to people. There are companies that can do analytics on your website. They can focus on where you're getting your people from, what they're doing on Facebook versus what they're doing on your Instagram account. But if you're just starting out, talk to people. Don't be afraid to go out there. Give them 20 minutes and then ask for 10 minutes of their time.
That is absolutely awesome. I love it tremendously. Thank you. I mean, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not pull some nuggets today, something was wrong with that picture. I tell you truly, something was wrong with the picture because, I mean, I got sheets of notes. Okay, I
Me
just wanted to
too.
know. There was one more question that I had. We probably got time for one or two more. So I'm going to make sure that Pamela has that opportunity as well. Here's my question. You said something very powerful. I see the color pink, and my immediate thought is, oh, this must be for women.
Hmm.
Because the fellas, no, pink ain't happening. And I'm going to be straight up. My sweetheart, if you wearing pink, we need to have a conversation. We need to have a major conversation because, no, my God. Okay, that being said, I'm sorry.
That's
Okay,
funny.
get serious, Frank. Get serious. Okay, here's the deal. When for that audience, the correlation between the color versus the audience you're going after. So let's say my audience are people between 25 and 40, and I have pink. That would seem to indicate that it's all about women and it's all about femininity. But I do not want to discriminate. I don't want those male dollars going away. With that being said, my question to you is, how do you help a person really synthesize that down so that they're getting to the right audience, the color makes sense?
hmm So there's a lot based on a lot of color theory with colors, obviously. But what we do is for example, let's say that you did your market analysis and you decided that you really do want to work with women ages, let's say 30 to 35, and you're opening up a cleaning service. But your focus is on women. You're not going to turn away men if they come to you, but your focus is you're niching down because you can't just try to appeal to everybody, and that's what was happening when very first time I started my business. And I was trying to appeal to everybody, and in fact, I was appealing to nobody because it felt watered down to everybody. Um, and so let's say back to the pink. I actually have a lot of pink on my website. I have my main color is pink, and then I have splashes of a mint, more of a mint green color. So the way I actually got to that point was I said, well, I like more of a feminine style for my website. I then went back and I did more of market research to see even if that would appeal to my customers. Because maybe the women, I wanted to work with female entrepreneurs between their first and third year of business. I wanted them to be, 30 to 35-year-old women who are professionals, and I had this entire profile of my ideal clients. So those are the women that I looked for and I spoke with to see where they were on social media, what brands they liked. And a lot of them said, I love Kate Spade, I love, all of these feminine, slightly higher end brands that they were going for. And so then I took that information of the brands that they aspired to, and I said, okay, I sat down, I said, I have these 3 color palettes. One of them is, it would appeal to everybody. It's maybe an orange and green, the nice bright colors, but it's not feminine and it's not masculine. I then have this ultra feminine color palette with fonts and everything. Which should I go with? And ultimately the decision is up to the business owner. But I made the decision that I'm not going to turn away, I did a handyman website once as well. I'm not going to turn away clients, but I love working with women, with female entrepreneurs. And if that is who you want to work with, then don't be afraid of saying, I'm going with the pink. Because if you are trying to empower female entrepreneurs and they, in that specific group of women, are into the pink, then go with the pink if that's also your color. Now, if I would have said, no, I'm going after, because this was an idea as well, I want to go after more startup people in the medical field, such as people starting up dentistry, clinics, or anything like that, then that would have obviously, the pink would not have fit into that target market. and it would have been more either of that bright orange or green, or completely more into the navy blue, that more corporate feel, because that would have appealed to that audience a bit more. So that's why I always say do the market research, look at where your clients are hanging out, what websites are they looking at, and what websites do they absolutely hate. Because if they're saying, if you, like, for example, if they're a business, you're a business coach and your clients are people who want to get out of corporate, then you don't want to look like you don't want to have a corporate looking website or a brand. You want to have something that will appeal to them, that gives them that sense of freedom and that lifestyle that they want. So that's how, I mean, there's a lot behind color theory as well. Like, you know, red is a very powerful color. It's a fiery color.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Look at my lips, red.
Yeah, yeah. And then back to the pink, it depends on what pink you want. Because if you want a hot pink, you know, a bright pop of pink, that's completely different from a nice soft baby pink. So it really depends on your likes, your market analysis, and what your clients are looking for when with the service that you are offering.
I have to agree with you, because you know what? I had the really girly girl pink. I had to step back because the guy did say, Pam, I won't go no further with you. I'm like, okay. He did tell me. I had a good friend. He's a good friend, and I took the criticism well. And he's like, I can't go no further. So I kept my pink, and I'm saying this though for everyone. I did keep the pink. I just toned it down. I went for the bright pink because the bright pink pops. That's me. So I did take his advice, but he did tell me it was too girly for him.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing here is a group of girly girls, because I like pink also. So, I mean, it's like almost a pink brigade here, ladies. Okay.
Now, I am working currently with a client that she loves pink, but we have actually worked in a way where we've minimized the amount of pink on the site, because she likes that color and it's part of her color scheme. But in order for her to appeal to a male audience, we've just simply toned it down a bit. We're using it more as a detail versus throwing it everywhere on the site. So that's also an option when you decide on a color, but then your target market might not be into it. You can always tone it down a little bit.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I want to say, first and foremost, thank you to our guest. I also want to say thank you to the co-host for getting this incredible woman, Yasmin Robles from roblesdesigns.com. We are most appreciative to have you with us. And I am going to sneak in and ask, if we invited you back, would you come back?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Yay!
Yay! Yes, she would. Well, Jasmine, again, Yasmin, I'm sorry, I apologize. We don't want to take you from your day. We could talk for hours. We are
absolutely.
We are definitely going to invite you back in September. You've given, and now we know what to hone in on. Your site, everything that people are looking for, they can go to roblesdesigns.com and connect with you. I hope that you will. I am hearing some great things. It's retooled my thinking. So, Yasmin, again, thank you so much for being with us. And September, Pamela, make sure she gets booked.
I will.
I'm excited.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my goodness! Wow, what a broadcast! What a broadcast! What a broadcast! That was awesome. I mean, I don't know about you, Pamela, but I have picked up so many points from what she had to say. What struck you? While we have the time to talk about it, what kind of things struck you? What did you get out of there? What nuggets did you pull out?
Oh my goodness. Like I said, and I was very serious, I could talk to her for hours. And funny enough, we have met at another networking event, and we talked and talked and talked. And here's why: branding is huge, and it is important for us. So one of the things that she talked about was consistency. Everyone has to understand, you have got to be consistent when you go out, when you're branding yourself. Be out there, you represent. So when I go to your website, what you're speaking on and when I go to your Facebook should all tie in together. So that is one thing that is very important, is consistency. The other thing that And then next that she also talked about, which was awesome, was yes, the branding budget is huge. I mean, branding budget, it could go on forever. You need branding. You
Yeah.
do need branding. But those of that are starting out, so you start out. We all had to start out small. She gave the websites on you can start out with the free ones, the Weebly, Webnext, and WordPress. Also, there's iPage out there. There's so many out there that you can use that has the free websites out there, because it's important to have your website up and running. So you have the opportunity to use those free services, and they come with themes, as she did mention, come with themes that you don't have to pay for. Now your access or your limitability to growing on those themes are limited, I can tell you that. But you do have a way to get in there and start building up from there. So again, it is huge. And then also as well, Miss Yasmin is also give you where, if you do have an existing website right now and you take your business to her, she's not going to tear it down. She's just going to start honing in on what is your business about? Who is your targeting audience? So that's what another key topic, because I have came across a couple websites and is this what you're saying? But at least I could refer them back to her, and knowing that they won't tear it down, they'll just revamp it. So don't worry, there is a way out. And the last and foremost, you can afford her services. As you see, she even went from to the little budget to the high budget, where she will even come in, she will do an analysis of your website. And I can tell you, she does do that because she did do that for me. She will come in and they will do a website analysis and show you talk about the fonts and the colors and things like that to make it more personalized, as she also talked about as well. So I have my sheet. I'm telling you, I promise you, I could talk to her for hours and hours and hours.
No doubt, no doubt. And you gave a great synopsis of the things that you got out of the conversation. In fact, as you were saying them, I'm check, 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 check. The elements that I got out that really struck me, there were a few things. One in particular was that market analysis. When we jump into business, I won't say we're not thinking of it, but some of the things that we want to get to the dollars. And so what we're doing right now is we're doing the things that we know that get to the now dollar. However, not that expansive dollar, or not with that direction. And because we are on that treadmill of getting this one right here, that we're not realizing we could capture the whole thing if we just understood that. I love that 30 women in 30 days. Give something of value to them and let them give you feedback, because market analysis in and of itself is expensive. Mm-hmm. And so you're getting a chance to participate. And I'll tell you one thing about that participation, at least that I believe in, is it then, in my mind, it makes you stronger. It makes you understand more about how somebody's going to do something, so that when you do actually go get the market analysis, that professional market analysis, you know what questions to ask. You know what you want them to do for you. And so therefore you can target the dollars and how effective those dollars are going to be, that your budget is going to be well spent properly. That's something that I think is so powerful. What's your thought on it?
Absolutely. It is. This was a powerful, powerful. I love this. Like I said, branding is huge, and this was just such a powerful. Like you said, I can go on and show you my notes and everything. So this was I'm like you, Miss Brent. I hope everyone took these nuggets, because this was a very informative. Again, like we said at the beginning, we're coming here. We're starting to provide you with information. We're providing you education on how to take you to the next level, and we are going to get there. So again, just stay informed and stay with us.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We're going to do a little transition right now, and I want to give a shout out and a thank you to our early risers as well as our early risers. So this morning, I'll tell you what, the early riser award goes to Alice Buca and also Betty Speaks. Thank you all for being early risers. Things were going up on the site and you all were chiming in immediately, and I appreciate that. And that, so we give you the EE, the early riser. And then for the early risers, Deb Vars wants to give a shout out, Jennifer Kaufman shout out, and Joyce Swinson shout out. Thank you for being loyal watchers of this broadcast. It gives I'll tell you what, it makes me wake up on Saturday mornings because I know you're there and you're ready to take in the information. So we got to give a thank you for you all very, very much. We're going to move into the hot buzz topics and trends. And I actually have 3 of them for you. And so I'm going to, because I'm right here, I'm just going to speak first. How about that? I know that Pamela has them for you as well. So let me share those with you. First and foremost, Alina Lopez Thomas is going to be joining the cast. Yay! Woo! September 1st, that will be her first broadcast with us. So you will see the Wealth Warrior view. We're looking at what the title is going to be, but you know, if you've ever watched the show called The View, well, that's what you're going to get here. You're going to get part and parcel of The View with a serious economic spin. Because what did I say? We are here to talk about wealth, creating wealth, and leaving legacies. That's our focus. It ain't the pie in the sky. It is real talk. So I want you to know that. So I'm real excited about that. Second trend that we're seeing, and that is home-based business owners now going to incubators and innovative centers. What does that mean? What that means, at least in my mind, what it means is that we're scaling up. That, yes, we have a home-based business. However, there are times when we want to get out of the house. There are times when we want to have people see us in a different light. We love the home base. However, we need to for the sake of argument, we need to impress someone. And so we want to bring them to a location that has impress. We also want to be in the space of other individuals so that those energies can flow. Sometimes you just need to talk to some other individuals. You need to be able to walk around the space and feel that energy. And so what we're seeing is a major, not a minor, a major trend towards innovation centers and incubator centers. And I will tell you, there is a difference between the two. Innovation is exactly about that. It's what are you bringing new, what are you germinating that's new to the marketplace, versus an incubator, which is usually a startup. It's a baby. It needs to be coddled. It's sitting in an incubator, and it's generally a startup. It's a growth period, versus an innovation center where is brainstorming, and now you have just reached a new plateau. So I am enthusiastic about that trend, and I'm telling you, it is for the home-based business owner. You want to be looking at how can I curb that into my environment. One last one is I am enthusiastic to say that we are going to have a number of guest speakers from the Women's Speakers Association, the WSA, which there is a Facebook page. We've gotten excellent response from them when we said we were looking for speakers for entrepreneurship, looking for speakers for real estate investing, and you will see that they are going to be infused. I'll be putting up a list with a calendar of our speakers. So I want to give a shout out to the WSA and thank those ladies for reaching out and saying, yes, Brent, I'd love to speak on the show. I'd love to share my pearls of wisdom and give your audience nuggets. So kudos to them. Those are all of mine. I like that. Those are all of mine. What have you got that's hot business topics and trends? Pamela, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Absolutely. One of the hot topics I would love to put out here, since we have so many listeners, is copying everybody's work, somebody else's work. It has become a huge topic on my Facebook. Actually, we even talked about it in a couple of my networking groups. Here's what happened. And then this is really hot. So that was why this is the only one topic I have. But here's what happened. we had a couple ladies have been out here marketing their financial business. Instead of this other individual coming in and talking to them about getting to know what their business is about, they took their idea and just replicated it and then went on to Facebook and just kept doing it over and over again. And so what happened was they had the person that had taken the duplicate product totally misrepresented, said that they got it, the person, will use me, and misrepresented. Now, not only has this not happened once, it's starting to happen a lot. So my word of wisdom and advice is any information that you receive from somebody, first talk to them. Get to know what just talk to them first of all. Second of all, it is not cool to steal someone else's idea in business. We're all out here working, and I tell all my clients, even all my prospective clients, there is how many people on this earth that we can all serve, that we all can serve one way, one time or another. So to misrepresent and to steal other people's work. Now, and those of you that are doing it, you know what? I will challenge you to bring to us why you would do it. Because would you want someone to do that to you? I mean, it has become such a hot topic. Again, we talked about it in several of my groups. So I'm very adamant about stealing other people's work.
Pamela, that's huge. And here's the question that I have for you. If a person is acknowledging where that came from, are you considering that a stealing copy? Or is it the fact that they are not acknowledging, or is it the fact, yeah, speak to that. Why is that now so hot?
Because they are not acknowledging.
Okay.
They are not acknowledging where they got the source from. It's just like when we all go to college. When you are caught plagiarizing, what happens? There is no, can't give me a chance. There is none. Yeah. You have to give credit where you have gotten the work from. Now, let's first be honest and foremost. Yes, just like the Post-it note. We all know that the Post-it note came from the idea where they were writing on a piece of paper, but he took it a step further. He took it a step further where he added the adhesive on the back, where you can also take it and just keep putting those Post-it notes. That is totally his idea. But the writing on a piece of paper, that's plagiarism, as you may call it. So yes, not giving credit to the person that you got the idea from is just absolutely.
Totally. I mean, let's put it this way: in the stream of hot topics, that only needed to be the one. That was very clear. Wow, and double wow. Yeah, and there are so many creative ways that you can acknowledge that person and still use portions of the material. There are
absolutely
ways to do that and to do it appropriately. I mean, this came from here, or I want to acknowledge. I've done a presentation where I've gone through, I've given acknowledgement in the beginning. In that PowerPoint, I've even said at the end, excerpts from, this came from. So there are so many creative ways to utilize the information and respect the person that initially brought it to bear.
Absolutely.
So you're absolutely right. Ooh, that is huge. Thank you so much. Well, ladies, gentlemen, as we wrap up today's broadcast, I hope you Pamela said, I hope you got some serious nuggets. What does branding have to do with it? I tell you in one word, everything. It is that powerful. So I want to share with you, next week, we will have Entrepreneurs Real Talk Continues. Through the month of August, it is nothing but entrepreneurs and real talk. They're either going to talk about a topic, or they're going to share their experience of how they came to the world of entrepreneurship. In this day and time, I tell everyone, we cannot rely on one source. We have to have multiple streams of income. And let me tell you something, multiple streams, whether it is from a business that has various streams, for example, a turnkey business operation, or whether it is your primary job and you've taken money and you've invested it into different vehicles, whatever the case may be, if you are relying on one source, it is a one-legged stool, and guess what? It has no place to go but down. So with that being said, let me bring us back up and say we are going to have some hot entrepreneurs, some hot entrepreneurs that are really going to charge you up throughout the rest of these dog hot days of summer as we go into the fall. Pamela, do you have a last word before we shut it down?
I do. I want everyone to enjoy your day. Get out here, be you. And guess what? Let today be your beginning for tomorrow. And I hope you enjoyed this show. And oh, one more thing I want to go before we get off here. Any new listener who wants to know, how do I join Wealth Warrior? It's so simple. I promise you. All you do is go on the Facebook, go to Wealth Warrior, and you send us an invitation. And someone, either one of us or both of us, will send you an invite. And you come on here and you get the nuggets that you got today every Saturday morning.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. With that being said, again, thank you all for being here. We enjoy you tremendously. Want you to go out today and be amazing. See you next week.